यो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि यो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि यो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि यो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि यो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि यो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि यो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि यो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि यो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि यो यो नः प्रचोदयात् I don't know, y'all. Ooh. It's a little table. Do you ever sit back and think, what's going on? Behold, all souls are mine. As the soul of the Father, so also the soul of the Son is mine. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. Hello. It's a funny one. I agree. Hi, Dominic. I'm just skimming through the Bible right now, you know. Man, talking about God. But I like these little tidbits because, right, God says, God, source, not religion, God, right? Behold, all souls are mine. As the soul of the Father, so also the soul of the Son is mine. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. But if a man be just, and do that which is lawful and right, and hath not eaten upon the mountains, neither hath lifted up his eyes to the idols of the house of Israel, neither hath defiled his neighbor's wife, neither has come near to a menstruous woman. Interesting. And hath not oppressed any, but hath restored the debtor his pledge, hath spoiled none by violence, hath given his bread to the hungry, and hath covered the naked with a garment. He that hath not given forth upon usury, neither hath taken any increase, that hath withdrawn his hand from iniquity, hath executed true judgment between man and man, hath walked in my statutes, and hath kept my judgments to deal truly. He is just, he shall surely live, saith the Lord God. It's just intense, y'all. What are we thinking? Basic instructions before leaving Earth. I love that, Dee. I love that. I'm gonna write that down. That's cute. I don't think I've ever heard that before. I always say they're a cheat code for the Matrix, which is pretty much the same thing that you just said. I like that. In other words, walk in the light and help when you can. Yeah. Hi, Dad. Hello, Daddy. Yes, I agree with you. I mean, that's really all it really boils down to, right? Do right unto your brothers. That's it. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Feed the hungry. Clothe the poor. Visit the widows. Love, love, love. And more love. And more love. It's really interesting. Yeah, Aditya. I have no idea, y'all. I really don't know. I mean, one can read and search for wisdom and do all these things, but at the end of the day, what you're requesting, what you're looking for, what you're desiring, it's inside of us. So how to access inside of us? My hands are so dry. So dry. My kids always pull on the tablecloth. Yeah. What's really happening? What's really going on? What's going on? Regardless of who's looking, right? Because it's your innate self. It's who you is. It's who you are. I is God. Yes. Hello, what's up? Oh, it's the only thing that can know and see our innermost parts, right? Just focus on what you desire to grow inside of your existence. Kind of feel like I know all that is inside of me, right? So it's kind of making this like interesting conundrum when I'm reading like the words of God. Like, I get it and I understand, but like the Christian Bible was adapted through the Hellenistic, right, time period, and the Hellenistic people, they worshipped the sun. So what if the Bible, I just don't know. You got to ask these questions and you got to figure it out and you got to go and you got to go deep. And then still, after you go deep, you still really don't know nothing. That's cool. So what is there even to do? There's nothing to do. Nothing to do. Nothing to be. Nothing to say. Nothing to prove. Nothing. Redacted books as well. The Ethiopian Bible. Oh, yeah. The Ethiopian Bible? For sure. How about the Silver Bible, right? Like, there's all these things. And I think Michael and I were talking about this yesterday. Like, if it says in the Bible, woe to those who remove pieces or add to. And clearly, it's been added to and removed. So it's kind of almost like ridiculous for us as humans to follow it in such a form of like, this is the only way. You know what I mean? Because they didn't follow the rules, but they also killed the prophets. So I feel like we have been duped. I feel like we have been duped big time. I'm not saying that I don't believe that there were epic people that walked on the earth that knew intense knowledge, because I really do think they did. But I think that the sophist elite seen the power in that and they harnessed it for themselves, and then they programmed us like hardcore to like release our powers. Like, if the kingdom of heaven is inside of me and I'm the temple of the living God, what? And we all are. It's not just me. It just doesn't make sense. Let's see. Ma'am, how do you read Devanagari script so easily? Did you learn Sanskrit or a related language? No. And I didn't even say that correctly. Yeah, no, I don't know. And let's see. And then we Indians took all these things taken for granted and never searched about the meaning of the religious culture heritage. I can understand that. Why redact when the stories kept contain references to the redactions? Give me the truth, the whole truth. Right? The whole truth. Oh, the Book of Enoch. I got it upstairs. Yes. Right? Like the amount of knowledge in the books that don't mean anything. You know what I mean? Like, if you like are devout Christian or Catholic or whatever, and you have that real ingrained like religious aspect of belief patterns, you know, that what's it called? Rigidity. Maybe that's a word. And they tell you, don't do this, don't do this, don't read that, don't do that, don't do that. I can't imagine that that would be a thing if God created everything. It's like it conflicts. Everything conflicts. Yes. Jordan, I'm glad you're back. Don't spam though, okay? Right, AKA. And sofas, that's sensory knowledge. It's all. And who even knows? I think I'm rolling with that we're all individuals viewing whatever it is we're viewing through our own individualistic viewpoint, which is glorious. And I honor that for you. And I expect that people honor that for me. So, like, I think it's a thing. Please do not spam the chat. Because at the end of the day, what can you do? Just read, explore, engage, intermingle with everybody, with everything. for somebody to think that only this one way, when everything is created by source. I don't know about y'all, but that don't make no sense. Now, I'm not saying, don't be Christian or whatever, do you? But to be Christian is to be Christ-like. Do you guys know what Christ was like? Like for real? Like as a person? An enlightened being walking on this earth? Just like Buddha, right? Ramana Maharshi? Like all these people, they walked on this earth to show us, the ones who are asleep, that there is a way to awaken, the resurrection, to be born again. You must be born again. And it's not about religion. It's about the contents of your heart. You know if you shiesty or not. You know. I knew. I knew. Uncle Glenn. And there's something else going on here. I don't know what it is, but thank you, Dee, because I'm with you. I am with you. I think that the sophists have created this existence by harvesting our own creative capabilities and convincing us that we don't have these capabilities, which is just a lie. And you can prove it yourself. You know what I mean? Like pull something into your field, right? Like the explanation the other day, Mike and I do it all the time. We'll be talking about something and boom, there it is. I'm like, cute, right? Like, stop. It's a real thing. But we have convinced that it's outside of us. We have been convinced to sit steadily, don't really follow what it says in the word for us to do so we can be the temple of the living God. Like you already are, but you must be clear. You gotta be clear. I'm Hawaiian and we have a belief in the living call. Pono, yes? Is that so? Ho'oponopono, right? That's similar to that. Explain it to me a little bit, Dee, if you don't mind. Hi, random weird name user. I think that religion structure like that is part of the old world that we're getting rid of, that we're going into this new existence and being. And I don't think religion is coming. Because just like religion says, our Bible says, when you crucify Jesus afresh, you're doing it to your own shame. We're not meant to have idols at all. Meaning our attention is solely meant to be within us all the time. Be here now all the time. It's just interesting. Ho'oponopono is gathering together and discussing thoughts and concerns amongst each other. I like that. So what's Pono then? Alexa, play Muji Mala music.
Here's some music by Muji Mala on Amazon Music.
Alexa, volume up 3. I am that, 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 I am, I am that, I am, I am that, I am. My physical qualities are speaking to my philosophies, emotions, not my race or religion, not a country or nation. I'm not even a man or a woman. And Bono is basically being morally righteous in all things you do, not just among your brothers and sisters, but the nature and the spirits as well. That's beautiful, D. Yes. Give me chills. I just feel like we're walking into this space where more people are available to see the pureness of our being. And not just me, everybody's being, your being, everybody's being. Alexa, volume down too. I think we're walking into that space, just love, right? Just love. And there's so many people that are so scared and fearful, and that's how they get you, man. That's how they hold on to you. They're constantly pumping you full of fear and want. Two things that you don't require in your existence: fear and want, desire. Everything will come to you. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all things will be added unto you. Still stamp delivered, yo. And then Jesus says, the kingdom of heaven is where? Inside of you. And the confirmation's just all over there. It's just all over. But people, the programming is strong. Break the programming. Break the program. Break the law. Break it. That I am. I think we'll get there. I mean, we will eventually anyways, regardless, because there's going to be so much chaos that unfolds on this world that people are going to be forced to look within themselves. Forced to look inside of yourself. I know some things can be scary inside of ourselves, right? Like we have owies, we have hurts. It's a thing. And the majority of it is because we were not taught correctly as children on how to regulate and how to understand that hurt people and how to let go. Let go.
This I am. It's not a person.
It's not a person, this I am. It is consciousness. That's what Muji Baba says.
Inside each one. We must not use it foolishly. When you say I, remember God. It is the God principle in you that is speaking. You must come to know it as not personal, but impersonal, uncreated, unborn, imperishable. It is the original one. To know this is to find freedom in God. To not know this is to be asleep. Respect, honor, value this name that God gave you, the name I am. It is truth. It is love. It is God.
We're stuck in this body, y'all. Fleshness.
Remember,
Flesh body.
within your being, and be happy. Wake up.
Who really knows? Here's a great verse. You know how people who are extremely religious, yes, crystals. Like does the devil's work. Don't do tarot. Look, it says here, thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, topaz, the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, the jasper, the sapphire, and the emerald, the carbuncle, and gold. The workmanship of the tabrets of thy pipes was prepared in thee the day that you were created. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of God. Thou hast walked up and down the midst of the stones of fire. Thou was perfect in thy ways from the day that you were created, till iniquity was found in you. The two sides of the same coin of the hero's journey coming back to the center point. Om Bhagavan. Om. Om. Okay. By the multitude of thy merchandise, they have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of God. So you were there, and then you were passed out. And I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. God is referring to us, man, as a cherubim, a covering cherubim. It's quite interesting. Hello, Sizzle. So much love to you, my brother. Brother. Thine heart was lifted up because of your beauty. You have corrupted your wisdom by reason of your brightness. I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee broken before kings. Just kidding. I will lay thee before kings that they may behold thee. Listen, thou hast defiled thy sanctuaries by the multitude of thine iniquities, by the iniquity of thy traffic, the coming out and going in, coming out and going in, coming out and going in. No, in, always reside in. Fire Star Lord. Blessings, my friend. Therefore will I bring forth a fire from the midst of you. Do you hear what that's saying? God's going to bring forward a fire from inside of you that was inside of you. And it shall eat you. It shall devour you. The fire that is within you, when you're not following source energy, it will come out and it will consume you. Isn't that crazy? It all comes from within. And I will bring thee to ashes upon the earth, of course, in sight of all them that behold thee. It's crazy. Who even knows? Who even knows? You know what I do know? That I love you. That I love me. And that I don't know. I, the Lord, will be their God, and my servant David a prince among them. I, the Lord, have spoken it. And I will make with them a covenant of peace. You hear this all over in the Bible. Hello, Cesar. I will make them, it says this regardless, all over in the Bible. I will make a new covenant with the sons of man. I will make a covenant with the sons of man. I will make a covenant. And I will make with them a covenant of peace, and will cause the evil beast to cease out of the land, and they shall dwell safely in the wilderness and sleep in the woods. Oh, my Holy Father, and your Holy Son, right, Father, you make the that has come. Oh, my Holy Father, I will raise them up for a plant of renown, and they shall be no more consumed with heaven. You make it run, run, run. Israel. Opened up your heart. Opened up your heart. You just have to go inside of yourself and figure it out who you serve. Who do you serve? Gotta run through the jungle. I don't know what that is. I will make thee perpetual desolations. And ye shall know that I am the Lord, because thou hast said these two nations, these countries. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord. Ay, ay, ay. Look at it, says, it's talking about supporting the manifestation of the people that are there, right? It says, because you had said these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it. That's a man talking, whereas the Lord was there, right? And then, therefore, as I live, saith the Lord your God, the Lord God, I will even do according to thine anger and according to thy envy, which thou hast used out of the hatred against them. And I will make myself known among them when I have judged them, when I have judged you. I love this song. This is a Temple of Fire, I think. I think we're just supposed to, worry about ourselves and go inside of ourselves. Yeah. Yeah. Stay behind. Hello, Anonymous. Woo! I have a question. I forgot my question. This yesterday is gone. Its tale is told. Leave the forgotten question and ask a new one. I love that. That's beautiful. Oh my God, you guys. Everybody says I look pregnant. Maybe it's like a remnant. I'm not pregnant, but I do have 7 children. Yeah, Sizzle. Try to remember Anonymous's question. Passing off. Thunder. Burn in the fire of love. Stay behind like flowing waters of sadness. Yesterday is gone. Its tale is told. Seas are growing. Time has come to turn your heart into the whole. I'm noticing that every Bible I read is the same thing. We have been led astray, we have fallen asleep, and the only thing we need to do is choose to come back to source, to God. And it's not what religion has created it to be. It's not. It's inside of you, and it is powerful. It is way powerful. You're funny, backdoor. Let's see. It says, oh, please read my mind and retrieve that question. It's very, very important for the future of mankind. Well, Anonymous, come on, get it. It says, go hidden in the burn in the fire of love. Please give some hints or context, at least, on what direction you were thinking that time. Oh, Richard, your name is so fitting. I have no idea. I have no idea. Do you know that it says in the Bible that you can tap into the saints? Which means you can tap into the sages, which means you can tap into anything and everything if you're in alignment anyways. So it's kind of cool. But I think I have reached this moment of irrelevance. Nothing really matters. That's it exactly. Satanam. That's it. Because what else can you do? I'll continue to make these lives though, and I'll continue to, share and be together, grow together, learn together. I think one only has the answers for themselves. But I can most definitely be a mirror for those who are ready. And that's if source energy appoints them. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's an interesting thing that we're facing right now. I mean, that we've always been facing. But it's just to choose you. Who are you? The collective consciousness level, according to David R. Hawking, is around 207. As long as it's over 200, we're cool. We're not going to self-destruct. Hello, Vivek. I was thinking along the lines of, are Loompa Loompas considered child laborers? I don't think so. I think they were adults. Nice PFP, anonymous code, unlike your rubbish talk. I don't know what PFP means, and I'm not 100% sure what my rubbish talk is. I need a little bit more context there, sir. Whereas before we were rolling at 190. I think 200 is the level of choice. I think it's the level of like free will or something. Let me see. Here it is. 200 is courage. My bad. Below 200, 200 is the changing level of our existence, right? Profile picture. Oh, thanks. See, I don't know what those things. Profile picture. Anonymous code. How about peeled fried potato? Below that is pride, anger, desire, fear. Fear is at 100. And that's where the sophists try to keep us at, right? Is below the 200 mark. Because if we're stuck in pride, anger, desire, fear, grief, apathy, guilt, or shame, we're not even thinking about reasoning or acceptance or love. We're in the, the mire of it, the muck and mire. It says the Western world as we know it tends to calibrate in the 400s. There's places, whole continents that calibrate maybe 70, in which disease and death and all such things are prevalent, and the average age of death is 26, 29, or 30 or whatever. So we see consciousness then breaking forth in greater evolution, primarily in spots on the planet. America calibrates at 431, I think. Isn't it? America as we know it over 400, true. 420, true. 430, true. 431, true. 432, not true. 431 is right on where America is. That's quite a contrast with 70. Do you get what I mean? It's a different world. We cannot judge countries that are at 70 when we're out of 431. Do you understand that? It's a different world. It would be like saying alligators are wrong to eat other living things in the swamp. That which lives in the swamp lives in the swamps and lives by the laws of the swamp. You understand how you're transcending good and evil, good and bad, wicked and so. What we're trying to do this morning is to transcend that positionality. The most difficult one for most people in spiritual work is good versus evil. That's the one that people get hooked on, either in condemning others, which then puts them in the same point of self-judgment, or in judging themselves, which they then project onto the world and judge the world, right? So, yeah. Peeled fried. That's what I said, peeled fried potatoes. Keep going, anonymous code. I encourage deep intellectual bilateral conversations. I agree. Hello, boy. Peter says, is this the biggest Bible basher group? I don't know. We don't really bash anything here. We hold each other in high esteem. We love each other. Positionality and pragmatism. Does anybody know what pragmatism means? Pragmatism. So it's hard to watch the evening news without good and evil coming up. And the president of the United States, of course, has a very black and white idea of good and bad. And pragmatically, it's like a problem or something. Peter, yeah, I agree. I agree with you. Let's see. Peter said, did you know that Jesus ordered a Chinese takeaway the other day? He met Elvis. Okay, sure. To think about the future, maybe? It means practical in simple sense. Thank you, AK. Okay. So, and would you say practical? And practically, it works. Okay, yeah. When you're out in nature, there's certain things that you better avoid. And then there's other things that are useful, right? So a workable pragmatism then, for our purposes then, good and evil are different than what the president is saying is good and evil. He's saying from a political point of view. He's also probably quite personally moralistic about it too. He probably believes that. But the spiritual aspirant has to forego that convenience. It's just a convenience. We need to classify everything above as good and everything below as bad, you see? But the backfire of that is that you then get stuck in the duality of yourself. And the spiritual work means giving up judgmentalism. Judgmentalism means to transcend perception. And what that means is that you have to see it differently. That means you have to contextualize it differently. See, we are getting into a space of where we must be reborn. You have to start seeing things differently if you're ready and willing and wanting to see a different existence. That's this book right here. So what we've been trying to do is to recontextualize all of life as it evolved through all of time, how it presents itself in various gradations, so as to transcend the positionality, so you don't get stuck in the duality of opposites. Because truly, I know this world shows you so many opposites. There is none. There is none. Seriously, there's none. There's just different levels of understanding, viewing, and resonance. But there is no good or bad. There is no good or bad. Ego destroyer. Do you think I'm make a good world dictator? I think it's obvious. We all know I make a good dictator, but just asking. Okay, anonymous. Somebody asked how the spirit energizes the body. There is a disinterest in the body as you disidentify with the body, which can happen very rapidly. I always tell people, if you're into serious spiritual work, make sure that some other people know about that, because people can think that they're far from the truth, and then suddenly, without warning, it comes on without warning. You're in a completely different dimension, and the physicality is actually of no interest whatsoever. Maybe it's advisable not to have people know what you're up to. I don't know. Without other people, you'd never bother with the physical body. It would just topple over eventually. So happily, if you have people in your life that care about you, about the continuance of that physicality, they remind you to eat and all the things that you need to do to keep it going. But left to your own devices, you would never bother with it. As a spiritual aspirant, there's nothing to worry about, because once you're a spiritual aspirant, you've already committed to. We said the spiritual will. In meditation and all spiritual work, the field seems to be scattered. You look at the content of consciousness, you look at the mind and events of the world, etc. Your life seems sort of scattered, and that's sort of worrisome. First, I'm reading this book. Then I'm reading this book. Then I'm seeing this guru. Then I'm going to that lecture. But one spiritual commitment. So the decision of the spiritual will is what determines karmic sequences, and determines the fate of the spirit. That's interesting. When you choose, pragmatism is practical results based rather than perfect. I like that. Thank you, Sizzle. Thank you, Sizzle. Thank you, Sizzle. My friend Sizzle. I don't know. The nature of consciousness. Reality within the astral domain. Buddha was correct. He also describes similar temptations as did Jesus. The Luciferic came to him directly the same way. Undoubtedly the same entity, the same energy. What was that the same energy? It's an entity, resist, not true. It's not an entity, no. It's knowingness of certain energy fields, and it comes onto your consciousness that way. What I'm trying to convey is from experience as well as available literature. The spiritual student is often naive, wanders off in the desert with a pint of water and a pair of sandals. It takes more than a pint of water and a pair of sandals to reach enlightenment. It's a strict and narrow pathway. It's rigorous. It's demanding. It's beset with pitfalls. That which is in the lower astral, its greatest pleasure is to pull people off the straight and narrow. The fact that you are on the straight and narrow is what makes you a nice prize, a nice plump one to pull off with the temptation of another. That is the source of glee of the demonic, that they have seduced an innocent one. To kill the innocent is the way you rise in the lower astral. It's by killing innocent babies that you really get to be somebody. Take a bayonet and a bayonet child, the infant in the mother's arm, gets you really up in hierarchy. It gets you higher than the mafia. The mafia only kills bad guys. You have to be cold, heartless, and cruel, the ultimate of the opposite of goodness. All these various realms have their own hierarchies. They're complex. They have their own literature. There are a lot of well-known books in the spiritual bookstore, which all of you know. You have all run into them. Let's ask about one. The Uranatia book. I have that book. Calibrates over 200. Resist. Not true. The Uranatia book is well known. It's a channeling from some other domain. In the Uranatia hierarchy of beings and teachers, in the Uranatia hierarchy of beings and teachers is even Jesus Christ. So before you get enamored of any spiritual teaching, calibrate the energy field of the teaching. And the other thing you're going to ask is whether it's suitable for me. It may be very high teaching, and I say, is that suitable for me? And it says no. Why? Because at this level, I would misinterpret it. It would be injurious. So the willingness to surrender to God means to, let's say, operationally, if you get a no from Kiziotic question why, come up with the answers and then the willingness to comply with it. All pathways are pathways through the heart, because all pathways are the willingness to surrender the ego's delusion that it is capable of knowing reality. The ego is not capable of knowing reality by definition. The ego can't know reality. Reality with a capital R. By definition, it's a telescope that doesn't go that far. You know what I mean? It's a 12 times telescope, and you're trying to see into the next galaxy. You can't see into the next galaxy with a 12x telescope. You know what I mean? Spiritual disillusionment. Thank you, life. Thank you, life. Thank you. Thank you. Amen. Yes. For the air that I can breathe. Wiz Khalifa. Right? He's like, ah. I love that. Anonymous code, are you my lost, dusted, filthy melon, which I am missing every day, every moment? Pretty good. What's the meaning of slave of freedom? Does that make any sense to you? You're a slave of freedom? Yeah, I can roll with that wordage, right? Slave of freedom to me, like if you were just to ask me, I would say that means that the thought of freedom or the enacting of freedom is also a type of bondage, because there's no thing to know. There's no thing to be. You don't need to be free. You don't need to be a slave. You don't need to be black. You don't need to be white. You don't need to be fat. You don't have to be skinny. You don't have to be short. You don't have to be tall. You don't have to be all these things, because it just is. Imagine being able just to release and just say, it is. There's only love. You guys can answer too. Aditya and Sizzle and whoever else, answer that as well. This concept spans across philosophy, literature, and pop culture, most notably popular in anime and manga. Attack on Titan through the character Eren Yeager. Which concept? The phrase slave to freedom is a famous paradox describing someone so utterly consumed by the pursuit of liberty that the pursuit itself becomes their master. Yeah. That's funny. Shyam Sizzle, you called where Shyam got it from. The phrase slave to freedom means their absolute desire for freedom strips them of their ability to make normal, healthy choices, turning them into a prisoner of their own ideas. Yeah. Well, it says in the Bible that at some point you have to walk away from the word and just rely on what you have inside of yourself. Disillusionment, spiritual disillusionment. In this section, we've covered a lot of stuff, enough to offend at least a half a dozen people. If we calibrate your favorite spiritual teacher and found out he's only 42, well, somebody's got to tell you. Spiritual disillusionment is very, very painful. To become enamored of a certain teacher and then later discover that that teacher is not integrous is horrible. These people, I've seen some in the office, some I've known in the spiritual community. It's worse than a marital infidelity. It's worse than the boss telling lies behind your back. It's like the ultimate double crossing. It's like the devil. There are all kinds of gurus that calibrate below 200, and I've traveled a little bit around the spiritual circuit myself. You see pictures of this guru there and incense is going and the hearts and flowers and fruits, and the guy calibrates at 120. You know what I'm saying? It takes more than sandals, incense and robes and a shaved head sitting on a tiger skin to make a guru. The Buddha was a teacher about right livelihood, one of the eightfold pathways. It means to be integrous in one's endeavors within the world by which you make a living. He recommended that you not be a butcher and things like that the accumulated negative karma of constantly killing life in return for money would undo a great deal of spiritual merit. Buddhism and Far Eastern language tend to talk of spiritual merit. So integrity has to do with intention. We've said spiritual level has to do with intention. When you do spiritual work, you're really doing it from the center of your spiritual will. You want to get away from thinking there's a personal I doing that. There's no personal I there. Consciousness is impersonal. Can you hear that? Can you read that? Consciousness is impersonal. It is, Aditya. It is a lot of heavy words, and I don't understand them all either. That's cool, sick. Yeah. Hello, Manish. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But don't you think being a slave of freedom will ultimately lead to freedom? If that's your intention, Shyam. Right? We just said that. Consciousness is impersonal. It depends on your intent. What do you intend to do? I'm not familiar with that. Is that amazing, sick? There you go, Sizzle. I love that. I love that. Sizzle Moon songs is no competent master of knowledge, master of words. A lot of big words, not language. Ego destroyer. Do you have your own consciousness too? I think it's a collective consciousness, to be honest. Life state. That's cool. Let's see. You make a decision from your spiritual will. It's your spiritual will because your spiritual will has infinite power. Your spiritual will is unstoppable. Your spiritual will that's inside of you. What do you intend to do with your life? You have this life. It's it's a gift. What do you intend to do with it? I intend to live joyously and to love beyond measure, and to be an open vessel for people to see clearly through and to ask any questions, because we're all trying to figure this out. Intent. Oh gosh. Complete like complete releasing, I believe, is enlightenment. Complete flow. No thing matters. Oh, by Buddha's definition? Well, we're going to ask Sikh that. Real Me says, I realize life requires instability. Without instability, you won't evolve. Okay, yes, real, right? But you also have the choice. It's your intention. Do you choose to learn through chaos, or do you intend to learn through wisdom? Because when we're unavailable to see the wisdom that we truly are, we do have to have chaos to grow. You are correct. I mean, not that I'm somebody to say, yeah, you're correct, but yeah, I agree. One needs to go through these experiences. It's the process where the source calls you to look inwards. Yes, beautiful. Of course, all the organisms have some level of consciousness. Of course. Your spiritual will is unstoppable. Spiritual will allows you to get burned at the stake and not flinch an inch from what you believe in. That takes spiritual will. The ego doesn't have that kind of strength. The mind doesn't have that kind of strength. Spiritual will, though, is extremely powerful. That is why Buddha said, once you've heard of enlightenment, the end is certain. Once you have heard of enlightenment, the end is certain. Because once the spiritual will hears that enlightenment is possible, it clicks into it. And now it begins to reorganize the intention of all the intricacies of the ego. Right? Ego death. And somehow you just find yourself in the right place and moving in the certain direction. That is the result of the spiritual will. Beautiful. Enlightenment is knowing, experiencing the source of all. Flow in that, yeah. Hi, S. James. Hello, Greenwood. How are you, my friend? Resulting in the total end of suffering, dukkha, and liberation from the cycle of rebirth. Yes. Yay. Rahul. So integrity then is a decision. The reason I used Sam Walton as an example, do you guys know who Sam Walton is? Walmart. Was because he seemed to represent a widely experimental way to value an integrity in business. Because of that integrity, which radiates out, the consumer has confidence that if it's broken and you take it back, they'll give you another one. Of course, experimentally, I have done that. And by God, they do give you another one. If they cannot give you another one, they fix it. So at least there's the intention of integrity. Integrity is extremely important. I think in the spiritual community, in government, it would be profoundly unworkable. How are you going to get reelected if you're going to be integrous? Oh man, you know what I mean? You would have to be honest. And how would you get elected? Some variance with integrity is necessary on certain levels. Illumination and enlightenment. I'll continue on to read this. What is the difference between illumination and enlightenment? Generally, illuminated offers a 600 calibration and over. It's denoted in art, usually as a halo. If you calibrate the energy level of the halo, that which it signifies is 1,000, sainthood or above. The general public would say that anybody into the high 500s is already illuminated. We think of a saintly person as reflecting the light of divinity by their patience and all the classic virtues, patience and tolerance and truthfulness and integrity. Illumination is over 550, true, 580, true, 590, true, 599, true, 600, true, 601, not true. Hello? Oh, it's Rosie. You changed your, you are a lone survivor, aka you're funny. How are you, Rosie? I haven't seen you in forever.
I know, it's been a long time.
I'm gonna finish reading this and then I'm gonna love you and we're gonna do our thing.
Okay.
Michael's in the living room too, if you want. 600 is the level of illumination. It's because the presence of the self is felt like a light that it's seen as the light of consciousness. You tricky AKA. You're conscious of that which in ordinary life you take for granted and never realize what it is. You never look at it. Just like in this room, you're aware of the contents of the room, but you're not aware of the space in the room. I mean, your focus is not on the space here. Your focus is on the content. Enlightenment becomes that you're aware of the field. You're aware of the field itself, out of which the content becomes meaningful. It's because of the non-form of the field that the world of form makes any sense. It's by virtue of that which is non-linear that anything linear can be discerned. That's actually quite interesting. If space wasn't full of nothingness, you couldn't see something in it. You know, Sizzle, I love you. Now, consciousness is the quality that would allow the awareness of beingness. The fact that you realize, you know that you are. Let's ask about Cat. Kitty knows that he is resist. True. You might say that's primordial, right? Primordial. It is by virtue of consciousness that a kitty is aware that he is. Kitty has consciousness? True. Which comes out of existence? True. Kitty has knowingness of existence? True. Kitty has capacity to identify it? Resist. Not true. It can identify it, but it can't identify it, but it knows that it is. That all knowing. So that's enlightenment. Okay. It's aware of existence. You see, existence is a statement. Beingness. Being is an intransitive verb. Isness. Beingness. Havingness. Isness are all verbs. In a verb, there has to be a this and a that. When you add beingness or amness, you're saying that there is something that has that quality. That's why amness has not described to me what the ultimate reality is. Amness, like I isness, like just being, isness, I just is. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Let's see. That awareness is illuminated by virtue of consciousness itself. So that statement came out of consciousness about beingness. It's almost like enlightenment, consciousness, and beingness, like the trifecta. Anyways, there's just so much, you know? There's just so much. Intelligence and consciousness are not the same thing. One is Chit and the other one is Chaitanya. Chaitanya. German. Sizzle Moon Song. All right, my friends. All right, my friends. So much love. We'll come back again, I think. I feel like there's nothing really to do, so why not share, right? I love you. I think we will make this happen, or we won't. It doesn't matter. Wisdom, right? Wisdom or chaos? Which one do you choose?
I didn't know.